Hi, this is Mia, and I made a real long video last night about who knows what. I was sick, and I had my hair all fluffed because I took my headband off, and I'm like, I don't want to post this. You guys are going to be scared. And I was in the dark, and there's a dark background and everything. So I'm just making a new video. This is I'm supposed to be going to work, and I've been having a fever for 3 weeks, and part of it, the reason is, since summer I've been working 9 a.m. to 1, and when I was training to do tech stuff, I was working maybe from 9 to 7:30 or 9 to 5 or what, longer hours as I could, just because the technologists had to be in the lab in order to and there needed to be someone on the desk in order to be able to have the opportunity to be trained and have the opportunity to do blood draws. Currently, I am sorry, I was just thinking about, somebody asked me, they want me to set up an account. They asked me if I had SurePath or Thin Prep PAP materials. What I want, I don't remember. So I was like, oh my gosh, should I tell them? Because I'm trying to, okay, I work in a lab, and it was from the school I graduated, and there was a lot of administrative and or other things where the people in power, the people that have the most seniority will, back then they would have their favorites. They would take and manipulate other people's lives or test scores or lose their tests and then say you failed. And if a teacher and somebody hadn't turned in a pack of homework and I gave them an F and they said I want to regrade, which is a legitimate thing, and I went and regraded it and found, oh my gosh, I made a spelling error, or oh, this big essay, I didn't realize it was connected to such and such, or it was in a plastic sleeve and it slipped off onto the floor at home. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you got like a B plus or A minus or C, even at least a P, a pass. And in this case, they tried to pull this garbage. I know there was a grading error. They refused to give me the points. They gave the other students the points, and then they discarded that test. So, anyways, this has happened to me more than once at this place, and I was like, these are individuals, and maybe it's not the administration, and where the problem comes in is when you report these crimes. Oh, shoot. So, snacks, just when you report these crimes, you end up being told, sorry, we can't help you. If your teacher thinks that's the grade you deserve, then that's what you get, no matter how many B's and A's you got on your other tests. And like, it's just like this and that. And there was a lot of racial tension, and the demographics of age. I'm a single parent. My race times between me and other professionals or professors at the school, and that's discrimination, and that's against the law. And they didn't have any. I reported it all. They said no, too bad. The teacher says you don't belong because of your age, because of who you are, because of your family situation, and who I am is that I'm black, and because you're born that way. Who you are is who you're born as. Who you become is what you do on your path of life, And I became a physician after 5 years of this racism and ageism and everything. And it's an animal behind a sheet. He's wiggling, and I can't see what he's doing. I am told that if it was gender-based, like sex discrimination, or if it was like sexual orientation or gender-based, then they would fight for me, and they don't tolerate that. If it was sex discrimination, the school at the time was like 92% female. My class was probably like 90. There was like there was like 6 males out of a class of 100 something students. It was like a few percent male, and like you could count them all and name every male in the class. So I started working there because I was liking my supervisor from my work study job a lot, and there was still some discrimination. There's another worker that took over with me. We split it, yeah, 20 hours. And this other lady is really old, and she has the special chair. She has the special pillow. They had to, crank up her telephone. They had to give her a double wide screen. They had, give her, when the lights went out, I liked it because I hate fluorescent lights. They gave her a halogen light. Halogen would hate that light. And I could see in the dark, too. My ex-husband, we used to live out in a tent, and I used to be able to, like, cleaning out and doing dishes and stuff, and he'd be like, "You can see?" I was like, "Yeah, can't you?" And he's like, "You got eyes like a cat." And like, that was like a compliment to me. I was like, "Doesn't everyone see in the dark?" And I was like, whatever. I've been living in the city so long, it's never dark. Just turn your lights off at night, save energy, and the street lights light everything up, and it was just hard to sleep. But yeah, I had gotten a car accident, and I was in a comfortable chair, and they took away my chair and gave me this piece of junk, and I tried to trade it in with another piece of junk chair, and it's just like one thing after another, and they gave this other lady, I started working before her. I was working 9 to 1 except for on Wednesdays, and I was working another, which was nice to see the different, how the day goes with the different patients, and you get a different crowd that comes in later. And then they just randomly switched my schedule to nights, and I have appointments set up 2 to 3 weeks in advance for my medical. They're like demanded that I cancel 3 of my medical appointments. And I end up, since this job, since a couple months, like October, since the car accident, I've canceled 7 doctor's appointments, or been told to cancel, over 7 appointments. And I'm like, I go to these appointments so that I can have my body fixed. And now you want me to cancel, and when my body's fixed, I can actually sit there and do my work. You're not giving me my breaks. You're taking away the chair. My back hurts because I'm junk that everybody wants, and then you're letting the older lady have all the special stuff, and you're not accommodating me at all. And it's just like, I found out that they switched me to nights. They demanded I cancel all these appointments before the car accident because I'm a birth worker. Most of the phone calls are between 9 to 10 p.m. and 2:30 in the morning. So it's like, I come home, they go if I want, so I can make them a decent afternoon meal, and then a snack before bed, or some sandwiches, and then go lay down early, and go to bed. Even if you don't know anyone is pregnant, because you want to get in a pattern of going to sleep early. And it's several times I've been called, no, like 2 times, several times, I've been called on a birth of someone I didn't know, because no other student wasn't able to go. So I was going to bed by 8 before the car accident. When the car accident happened, I was going to bed at 5 and 6, and I was sleeping till 5, 6 in the morning. And I was tossing and turning all night, waking up exhausted because I was having severe pain in my body, and it's just like pulsating pain in my shoulders and arms, numbness and tingling, and it's like my limbs, my hands and feet feel like there's cement blocks on the end of them, and it's just like, it's a horrible feeling and terrible headaches. I was going to bed early. I was going to bed early because I was like having so many brain issues, memory issues, dizziness, and I couldn't the grocery store. I couldn't study for school. I couldn't get on the computer. I couldn't read. It's just so bad. I I couldn't stay up. If I tried to sit on the couch, I would have to just lay down. And so I was going to bed at like 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and then except for on Wednesdays, and then I would have to eat chocolate before I left, just to, make sure I don't doze off, in the car, 15-minute car ride home. And some of those times, because I wasn't supposed to work, I wasn't supposed to lift, I couldn't find anyone to help us. I couldn't find anyone to help us get groceries home and stuff, and I ended up sometimes having to go to the grocery store after work. Or I guess you could do that in the morning, but anyways, sometimes it's just like, you're so sick, you can't do anything, because the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, it was going to doctor's appointments 2 to 4 times a week, and going to doctor's appointments on Saturdays and Sundays as well. As well as doing my midwifery training. And then I was okay with my schedule because the back pains and headaches were causing me to wake up at 4:35 in the morning. So when I had to get up and go to work by 9, I just end up going and coming home. Or actually, I would go straight from work to my doctor's appointments. They swapped my schedule, and so I stopped making doctor's appointments. I feel worse. My right side was predominantly the numb side. Now my left side is like, I was making the video last night holding on to a bobby pin. I dropped it at least 10 times. I can't feel it in my, I can't feel it in my hand. And I'm supposed to have gone to a neurologist 3 weeks ago, and there's new supervisors keep changing my schedule, and it's very flaky. Like, they've already, like, you would say, why don't you do this? Why don't you just tell them now? And da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, they demand you change your schedule, and then they say, if you don't change your schedule, you're not going to get paid. And they changed my schedule because the older lady liked my schedule better. So she took my hours. And they keep claiming that I asked to work nights. I'm like, I don't get home until like an hour after bedtime. And then I'm still coming home, making the kids dinner, not eating my own dinner, getting a call from the midwife. Your patient is crampy, this, that, and the other. Okay, I better get some rest and put my bag by the door. And then the next thing they know, okay, I'm up all night again. And it's like, if I can go to bed 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, then I can get called at 10, 11, and have sleep, so I can make it between 9:30, 10, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m. Or later. Sometimes, the other day we were at the hospital from 12:45. I left at 12:45 and got home. I don't even know when I got home the next day. I don't even know what day it was. But it's like, it's bad enough. You volunteer. All this stuff, and you have to take care of yourself. You have to keep groceries in the house. If you're a single parent with 2 kids, you have to take care of your animals and make sure they have their food and their cages clean. You know that you have to get your rest and not be sick. You can't be sick breathing up on somebody's baby and on the mom while she's pregnant. It's like, it's careless. There's ways that you can prevent yourself from being sick by getting enough rest, fluids, exercise, reduce your stress, not work so many days a week. You can't be exposed to germs, but you can help your body's immune system. And this job has worn me out since they changed my schedule. I've been having a fever, and now I feel worse. And I feel almost passed out yesterday. I went to the bookstore to get food, and they didn't have anything I could eat because I don't have food allergies. And it's like, I could have gone, if there was a fast food restaurant nearby, I would have gone and got a side salad. That I could, they don't even have salads. And if they do have salad, you get this tiny salad for $6. And I'm like, this is like 10 cents worth of lettuce, and there's no tomatoes, and there might be like 1 sliced carrot or something. And it's like, why did a medicine place that I cannot even get a salad? It's like, I don't want eggs. I don't want breaded sandwiches. I'm allergic to that. I can't eat corn, and it's like, it's stupid. I eat all that stuff has bleach sugar in it. So now I am I call in sick to work because I can't sit here with a fever for 2.5 weeks, and I can't sit here. They're like, if you don't come to work when we told you to come, then you're not going to get paid. And they close the entire place down, and I'm like, okay, so I come in at night by myself and sit there and twiddle my thumbs until after bedtime. So if you didn't give me a lady, then I would work those hours when you're actually open and have somebody tell me what projects need to be done. And like, she was making these signs and all this stuff. She always tells me to do the wrong thing, and she's training someone else. She was trying to make a sign, couldn't do it, so I did it, and I know she started it before I got there. Everyone always takes credit. She didn't. She messed up a bunch of stuff on the computer, and I told her how to fix it. Because I was covering for her, fixing it without telling anyone. But then they're like, oh, she's good. We're gonna have her train somebody. Da 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 da. And I'm just like she always tells me the wrong thing, and I don't ask her. I rhetorically ask people. So I mean, I got a fever. I had a bad stomachache. I don't want to puke or I don't want to get other people. And my biggest issue is I need to not let somebody run me into the ground. You know, my mom died of disease. Her sister died of disease, 50-something years old. And I know that they worked hard, did the child rearing, and worked multiple jobs. Like, I know my mom and her relatives a lot were single mom. She wasn't single. Her dad worked out of town. And they bust their butt working and eating fast food, because going from one job to the next and taking care of these kids and toting these kids around, it's just like some of them were just, I didn't know it would cost me. I didn't know that lifestyle was making me sick. I didn't know, like, help me God, that I'm on my deathbed. And that's my mom's cousin, last thing she said. And I told myself, I gotta eat better. They ate the fast food because I've done that before. We were living in a shelter and stuff, and it's like, you have to go to these meetings. I decided I had to go to church. They tried to force me to go, and it's like, if I don't feed my kids, they're going to be hungry, and it's going to be child neglect, and I was feeding them fast food because I didn't have time. We do a lot of snacks from the deli, but sometimes you don't have time. And fast food, heavy meals, go to the health food store to get a sandwich that's probably made of worse ingredients than the stupid chicken nugget or the apple slices that you can get with it, in the little orange juice or the apple juice or chocolate milk or whatever they would get. And it's like you get like 4 little nuggets, like, no, but it kept them happy and it kept them from starving. They were very thin back then, by the way, and so I'm feeling bad because I'm trying to take care of myself. I told them I was sick all week. I told them I've had a fever for 2.5 weeks. I told them that they're having me work past my bedtime and that I have a schedule, and I left it because of the person I was working with, who's no longer there as of a couple days ago. And they gave this lady my schedule because she wanted my schedule instead of hers. And before I met her, she's like, I hate mornings. I hate that. And it's hard in the mornings, and you have to be really fast, and she's not. And it's just like, that's my best time, and I tolerate it. They say, oh, this is just for a week. Okay, and next week. And they took me off one day a week and told me that I was having to train. They were training someone to do my job. They took me off, and I'm not even getting my 20 hours. So how does that make you feel to go into work and be like, oh, you're not coming in today because we're training someone else to do your job, and we're not going to pay you for the time off that we just suddenly decided? Fine, then. And they're like, this is indefinite. Fine, then. And you can't on the other days to make up the time. Fine. And so it just makes me feel like it's like a pimple being pushed out, Somebody started to be like, boop, we're trying to eliminate you, we're trying to get you to quit, we're trying to, and it's just like, it's just ridiculous. Oh, this animal is eating these wee pads, and I'm just like, I feel like they could be toxic. I gotta give him something else to chew. I think he's trying to make a nest. It's a newspaper. So I'm trying to get a hold of an employment counselor, and I can't afford to pay for it. And I'm gonna get up here and figure that out. My dad's like, who cares? Just go to work. Da, da, da. But he's the type of person that doesn't support your health. He doesn't care that I'm in a car accident and I can't feel my hands and feet, and that I'm like gone back to being easy again, and can't make appointment with a neurologist. And I mean, I should have gone straight to the ER and not moved my neck after the accident and not walked. That's what they tell you in first aid. I had as soon as that car hit us, my neck was about dead, and I wish someone would have braced me and driven me to the hospital. But it's really bad, and people, because I feel like that cockroach. There was a cockroach in my brother's house, and I it freaked out. I just left it by the TV overnight, and I was like, I'm scared to touch it. Had the lights off. I had my dog in there with me, and the next morning it was gone. I don't think my dog ate it. Sometimes dogs, they just like curl up next to you until morning, and I was like, that thing done smashed its guts out, and that thing is probably crawl itself back to his little nest. And I was like, dang. I feel like that sometimes. It's like, I feel like a crush, and people try to manipulate me, and I get sick, and I get a fever, and it's like, yeah, I was just in a car that got totaled, and they're like, wow, you don't look hurt. Like, I was like, oh, I have 100, my nose, I'm spitting out blood and spitting out bile and having severe bleeding in the toilet, and they're like, wow, you look so healthy. And it's like, this is why people don't take me seriously, you know, because I work out and I have oily skin that makes me look younger than I am, and just try to, like, the worse I feel, the more likely, and the clothes that are nice, the worse I feel, the more I try to make myself up and pretend that there's nothing wrong. And I've had severe flus and stuff. I couldn't get off the couch, and people's like, oh, you look so healthy. It's like, it's because I do mostly raw food diet. It's because I don't drink or smoke, or and I sit out in the sun, and my skin doesn't get wrinkled from the sun, and it's just like, I'm a different person than you. You're sick, you got bags on your eyes and green skin, and I'm sick, I look like you on your normal day. It's like, so people don't believe me, and I know that if I don't take care of myself, I'm going to be worse. And I found 0 people to help me and my kids when I've been sick, when I've been in a car accident. I found 2 people that would help. Once we came here, my friend made food in a crock pot, and I got severe vomiting, diarrhea, and it was right when we moved, so the people that moved us threw away all of our food, so we had no food. And I was like, please, grocery store, these kids starve. I had no kids, nothing. And she helped us, and when I had that accident, one person offered to help, and she has no car and like an hour and a half bus ride from here, and she has to walk at least a half a mile to the bus stop from her house. And I was like, don't come. I really wanted her to come, but I said, don't even come. It just sucks. People are so, it's like they just want to see, it's like that cockroach just want to crush you, but it's like, I want to stand up and crawl away. Like, I just want to be like, I'm not staying down. Like, my biggest reason for not wanting to stay down is because I don't want to stay underneath their grip of abuse and behavior. And for myself, and be like, the rules say this, the student employment rules that, the law of the country says this, and you're breaking every single rule towards me. and you're getting away with it. And when I report it, you try to tell me that I'm the troublemaker, and then you put me in a position where you do everything in your power. This has happened to me many times. This institution, they do everything in their power to make it so that I'm not getting paid for my job, or have extra classes and pay hundreds to $1,000, where you're throwing my tests away and making me have to retake a class. It's just like they're doing everything that they can. They can't keep me down, so they do whatever they can behind closed doors to manipulate my life in order to make it so that I'm not successful. And I go straight to God and say, okay, you see what's going on. You see that I've documented it. You see that I've reported to the proper people. Now, they are still controlling and manipulating my life, like, dishonestly. Dishonestly is the key here. It's not just they're doing anything in power just to aggravate me. They're making up stuff. They are lying. It's like they're sitting at home planning stuff. Like, there's only certain people. It only takes a few people to destroy your life. It only takes to destroy your life. We had abusers come and abuse, kill women. Their ex with guns and knives. Murder, straight up murder, and sometimes murder-suicide. And you're like, it only takes one person to destroy your life and your kids' lives. So I'm in the position right now where sometimes you just gotta, you try to say, like, listen, what you're doing is against the law. We don't care. They spit in your face. And then it's like, do I stay, like I told my dad, do I stay under this abuse? I'm getting sick. I'm having stress. I want it to heal. And it's like, I've been abused for so much of my life, from a kid on, that I'm just like, oh, well, go ahead and hurt me. Go ahead and stop me. Go ahead and do this. Go ahead and cut my arm off. It's like, no. It's like, okay, that's what I'm familiar with, but what would I tell my patient if my patient came in with the exact same story? I was like, nah, you need to find a counselor, employment counselor, talk about these things. You need to figure out, get the employee handbook, and move up the scale of what's right and what's wrong. You need to write down what you need to do in order to get your health back, And if I was old and white, had blonde hair, blue eyes, and I was like, which is what my other coworker has, and I came in there and said, oh, I have this disease, or I have MS, or I have cancer, or I have this and that and this and that, and I have to get this treatment, and I have to get radiation and chemotherapy once a month or whatever, and then I have to do this and see these doctors, and then I got to do this other thing, and I have to get this massage. They'd be like, oh my gosh, sweetheart, yes, no problem, we'll just have other people cover you and this and that. And I'd be like, I was in a car accident and I can't feel my hands, da 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 da. If you don't, in fact, we're going to manipulate your schedule so much that you're like, it's going to be impossible for you to work. And it's like, and now I spent 3 weeks changing my schedule to be a nighttime worker and trying to do my appointments on the weekends and the mornings, and now they want me to flip it back. What? So yeah, I spent 3 weeks, It's like, sometimes you just want to be like, you want to wish that you were just an on-call person that's like, whenever they call, I go in. And that's, the beginning of the week I said, if I was just a doula, if I was just a birthing person and a naturopath and a parent, I was like, that's exactly what I need right now. That's exactly what I need. It's like those things, and you're on call 24/7 with all those 4 jobs. But that's what you want to do. And it's like, the other job is like, you want it to be consistent with the hours and stuff. So I'm gonna push stop and call this employment counselor and vent to them. If I was my own patient talking to myself, I would say, you work here because you don't get child support, you don't qualify for food stamps or other help, and you have children. It's like, nobody helps you with your kids. They won't go after the dad for child support. But if I fail to provide food for my kids, then I'd be the one going to jail for child neglect. They don't go to the dad for not paying 10.5. They don't say, oh, gee, this person's struggling. Let's put her on food stamps temporarily until she gets on her feet. They will point the finger at me, and they will not give any support. You know, I've called all these agencies multiple times. They refuse to help us. And it's like, write down, why do I work this job? And part of the reason I worked this job, because there was 3 other workers there that worked there that were great. And it wasn't perfect, but it was great. And they were hard workers, and they bust their butts, and they were very smart, and they're gone. And the other people are buddy favorites of these new supervisors, and it's making me nauseous, because it's very honest. It's like, oh, these people are workers, we're gonna give them a raise, but you're like a slave. And it's like, wait, this is outlawed in the U.S. It's like, you don't treat someone like a slave and beat them down and treat other people like queens and princesses, is exactly what they're doing. And then to get to doula, lifestyles of doula, I gotta my phone's broke. I have clients and I pass out business cards. No one's gonna be able to get a hold of me, so I might set up my Google Mail. I might make new business cards, set up my Google Mail. And I'm a doctor, a licensed physician. I'm trying to set up, because the in a lab is horrible, and they won't let me draw. Like, even this person, they train me to do resulting, and I'm very accurate in everything, and then they let this other lady do it, and she had a whole bunch of errors. Extreme, like, you can't put into a electronic medical record system severe, critical, like, your patient's calling 911 now. And this is a person they're like, pat you on the back, you're doing such a great job. I don't care if she's doing a great job or not, but they're not letting me do this stuff. And they know that I'm precise and accurate, and that I could see and spell and type, and that I will take an extra minute to double check my results. And I was even trained at first for a while to print up the paper copy of the results with the ones entered in the computer, just to be like, check, 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 check. Like, it takes an extra minute, but it's better than having administrator who's also a doctor come down and be like, why is my patient dead right now, according to your results? Oh, and they can be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And it's like, sweet. If I were to do that, it makes me sick, because it's like, I'm not perfect. I don't want to claim to be perfect, but it's very difficult when you're treated like scum and you can't prove yourself. It's like, in a situation where you can't prove yourself, it's like you can't prove yourself. So right now, I'm going to need to rest, and I'm going to get some hot make some raw mushroom soup, and some tea with honey, because I'm sick and I have a fever. I'm like burning up. Nightmares all night. I'm having nightmares, and the part that I remember, there was like a bus and some nice guy, and there was this thing and a tour. I don't know if it's a bus or a tour. I ended up driving something, and there was nice road. It was a scenic route, and then prior to that, and this is the very end of the dream. In the dream, I was having nightmares about driving off a cliff. And in the dream, I was driving, everything was fine, and the road split suddenly, and it was a very steep up and down, like, narrow road, twisty. Right off the side was the cliff down to the ocean, and the car was out of control. I couldn't slow it down, and I remember it was on the edge with my family in the car, and I was just like, ah! This is my worst nightmare come true. It was just like no way to control the car, no way to slow it down, no way to stay on the road, and and I woke up or whatever. I was just like, and before that, it was like everything was like tolerable, and then It was just like one turn in the road made everything crazy. So, yeah, I told myself, I'm setting up my own lab. I know people that want lab workers. I'm setting up a lab there. And there's a woman I need to email right now and set up see if I could set up a lab or something. I ultimately want my own clinic. I don't care if I visit other people's clinic. I want a space that's got my name on it, on the lease. That's it. And I was going through the house trying to sell people stuff. And some of this materials that I have, they're like really dense books that have the first two up to all 5 years of naturopathic school in them categorized, and I'm kind of like, if there's anything I keep, maybe that I should actually keep those. And I have anatomy books and all this stuff. My kids read all these books in my homeopathy books. I was like, maybe I should wait until I get into practice. My computer always breaks itself. It's like, why get rid of books if the computer doesn't work half the time? It's like, oh my gosh, I research a homeopathic. My computer's broken. I don't buy the $1,000 program, $3,000 programs anyway. It's like, let's go over here and get this book. And that's how I trained myself. They trained us to do it on books, and that people they do it on a computer, they just type in the answer. They just type in the symptoms, and the computer spits out the answer. But for me, it's like they told us to read the books and be familiar with what every remedy does. Just flip you're looking. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I need to get this immune support herbs and other healthy products, and I have a bad stomach ache. I need to get this stuff together and contact the doctor and tell them that I'm sick and that both of my arms and legs are numb right now, and that it's been since October, and go from there. And then I'm gonna contact this woman about doing blood draws and stuff, maybe 2 different women, and try to figure out how to be a doctor by sending in some paperwork. So that's where I am right now, and I just wanted to vent a little bit and have my hair done better. Sorry, it's like something stuck to my nose. Have my hair done better now than it was last night. I still post last night. I don't remember what I said. It was like an hour. But I haven't had a day off since Thanksgiving. It's 7 days a week: Christmas, Sundays, Saturdays. A lot of it has to do with automobile injuries and midwifery. But with the work, I don't mind working the 5 days a week. But like changing my schedule, demanding I cancel my appointments, being like, fine, I won't do my appointment, and then just hardly being able to drive or walk in there, having danger because I can't feel my feet and I got a stick shift. It's just like I'm risking me and my kids' lives, and I'm risking my health. And if you have a fever for 3 weeks, that's irresponsible on my part to keep exposing myself to germs, exposing myself to other people, and not letting myself heal from some kind of systemic infection that's going on, and or detox issue that's going on because of inflammation. I think it's very irresponsible for me to behave like that. And like I said, if I can't, because I have a history of it into my own self, puts myself in the line of danger. I need to be like, if I was a patient, I would be like so loving and so caring and so, don't like my promise to myself was, so many people are sick. I go to the hospital and it's like, oh, this place is nice. And it's like, just like, it's so, everything is so high tech, and so, it's like, what if my house was like this? Me at the hospital was like, oh, this setup, these TV monitors, computers, everything's so clean, you got these huge rooms, and, nice beds that go, and they got these bathtubs and birthing tubs and birthing balls. I'm just like, this is awesome. They got a cafeteria, ring, bring me some food. And it's just like, But it's like, wait, this is here. These people are sick. This is here because of cancer. This is here because they are needing dialysis. You know, this isn't necessarily the most happiest place. In birth, it's not a really disease, but I promised myself that I know the statistics. I love statistics. I read statistics from around the world, the healthiest people, indigenous people, the healthiest Western people, and know their habits, you know. I know they use the toilet whenever they want, and don't have to say, too bad your boss won't let you leave for 6 hours to use the toilet or drink a glass of water. Like, this is not acceptable. It's against the law, and it's not acceptable. And when they're the supervisor, they can go, you know, have lunchtime parties out, use the bathroom as much as they can, go pick their kids up from daycare, bring their kid to work, because they're in charge. But for us little people, it's just like, so I want to be my own boss, and I need you guys to pray for me, and I need God's guidance. And my dad is telling me to do the complete opposite of what I feel in my heart. And so I'm asking my Father in heaven to remedy those of guilt, my instincts, and what I pray and meditate about, and what's biblical and what's right. I can't put myself in that line of fire, you know, so that's what I'm going to do right now. And I've been having a stomach ache for 2.5 weeks as well, so I'm very concerned about that as well. This is and on end, not a lot of times with the stomach aches and the digestive problems will be because of stress. And if I continue the stress, besides being exposed to food allergens, which I'm avoiding, with the stress, it's like it starts to bleed. My bowels start to bleed. I've had this happen the first year of medical school, so that's the biggest stress. The studying and the school and the hours wasn't what put me over the edge. It was the racism. Because you have control over whether you're getting night's sleep and go to school the next day. You have control over studying for your exams, but you don't have control over the racist behavior and the changing of my test. Coming back with a paper that's completely been erased and rewritten on someone else's handwriting. That's what put me over the edge, and it's still putting me over the edge. So I really need guidance and to be out of desperation to put myself in danger instead of being like a bird pecking out of a shell and being like, I'm free, now I can live the life that God put me in. And the shell is not it's without the shell you wouldn't live. But in that situation, the shell is what God intended, and that's a safe spot for your yolk and all that to turn into chicken or whatever. But when it's cage, like in the world, and put a mental and or emotional and physical cage, and people are not letting you use the bathroom, and people are getting urinary tract infections. It's like it doesn't work. You got to break free from that, and then get your health back. And that's what's true. If you were in a nourishing place and it was time to leave on good terms or whatever, you could just be like a butterfly, like a cocoon, like chrysalis, flutter away. I'm free. Like I've gone to the next stage. Peace. See you later, tree. Whatever. Milkweed. I guess when you're a butterfly. Oh yeah. See you later, milkweed. I miss milkweed. And then it's like. That's like leaving on good terms. This one is like you gotta flee from a prison, and because you're traumatized, now you gotta heal yourself before you can fly out a butterfly. And so that's the difference between growth on a normal scale versus growth in a manipulative, abusive world. And I think I have the mark on my forehead that says abusive person. Even if I'm a hard worker, honest, people know I have good integrity. People trust me alone with their kids and their pets, and I'm just like, are you sure? It's like I wouldn't trust anyone with my kids and my pets, but it's like they are people that are very sensitive, and they sense that I'm safe. I'm black, different things, and they're gonna just peck at me and destroy my life. So that's what I have to say today. God bless.